All right, class. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be opening up a Google Doc to take notes. In order to do this, you have to be logged into Gmail. If you don't have a Google account, please see the previous video labeled Google account. Once you are signed into Gmail, as I'm going to do right now, make sure you remember your password and that it's complex enough. That means that it has capitals, lowercase, numbers, etc. So you're going to click on the waffle icon and you're going to go head over to More. And potentially you might have to go down to Even More, but I found my Google Docs icon right here. It's blue with the white stripes. So just click on that to open a blank Google Doc. And you're going to click on the little plus sign to open a blank brand new document. And you're going to title it. Very first thing. So just click right in where it says Untitled Document. Delete that and write Media 9 Notes. And you're also going to write your name as well as your partner or partner's names if you're working with one or two people, depending on how many. Okay, so I'm just going to write Mrs. Pokrovsky because that's my name. Okay. Once you have your notes set up, see how it says saving and all changes saved in Drive? That means that this automatically saves your document and does so every time you enter something. Okay, so you're not going to have any issues recovering this unless for some reason you forget your Google password, which you shouldn't do. You should have it potentially written down somewhere, saved in your phone, okay, but not somewhere where other people can access it. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to create a table by clicking on Table, and you're going to insert a table, maybe about 2 by 3, 4, or 5, okay? And basically the way you're going to set this up is you're going to give your source from which you're taking notes right up here, so source and a colon, and I'm actually going to make this bigger so that you can see it a little better. Bold it and make it maybe 24 so that we can see it. Okay, so your source, if you're using Encyclopedia Britannica, is just going to be Encyclopedia Britannica and the title of the article. Okay. Okay, then all your notes from that article are going to go in here. Okay, if you happen to have a different source, then you have to create a new table. Okay, so with Encyclopedia Britannica, though, you and your partner are going to be using the same article. Okay, and you're going to type in some categories up here like definition. Okay, these are main ideas: definitions, tips, maybe statistics, and real life stories. These are just the types of information you may find from reading your article. And so that way, for example, I'm creating a report on a topic. Say my topic was bullying. Okay, and so my article was called Bullying. Put that there. So definitions. Well, if I'm telling somebody about what bullying is, why we should care, and who it affects among teens in the U.S. and how we should handle it, I need to know what bullying is. I might need to know some other words like bystander, upstander. I might want to know, um, you know, what are some of the ways bullying presents itself. For example, cyberbullying, harassment. These are all words that I could define uh, for the purpose of explaining this. And I spelled harassment wrong, of course. Okay, 1R. And so you would write all your notes in here, okay? So the definition of bullying, okay? You could write that here. and then bystander, and this should all come from the same source. You're not just Googling this, okay? But it comes from the Britannica article, okay? Tips, you might want to insert some bullet points, okay? And you definitely don't want to be using complete sentences. So I'm going to star this, and I'm going to make it larger again and bold, and I'm going to say no, sorry, no complete sentences. Okay, bullet points, okay, only. So you're going to use these bullet points to give me some tips. And statistics are basically numbers, okay? Percentages and things. How many girls does this affect? Ages 12 to 18. How many boys? Ages 12 to 18. And, you know, specifically with bullying, I mean, it might be different with cyberbullying percentage versus regular bullying. Okay. Can I find this information in this source? Maybe I can, maybe I can't. If all I have are definition and tips and I don't have anything for statistics, that's fine. One of my peers who are working with a different source might be able to fill that section out in their presentation. Okay, so you're working with this framework. Okay, so right now you should have a sense of how to do this for Encyclopedia Britannica. Now, if you're not working from Encyclopedia Britannica, your source is going to be different. Okay, and so you would be in a different document, not necessarily in here, and you'd have your own table. Okay, for example, if you are the website group, you might each have, you and your partner, okay, might each have their own 2x5 table. And you might be in two different websites, and that's fine. What you're going to need to include with those two different websites is the URL. Okay, so if you're taking notes, just like the Encyclopedia Britannica group, you have your titles, definitions, tips, statistics. Again, you may not find everything in here. Okay, you may have, this might be blank, and that's fine. Okay, or this might be blank because someone else already has the definition and they did a good job with it. You might be able to add some more tips. You might have a couple really good real life stories that somebody else didn't. Okay, but the URL, okay, that's this part up here, okay, for the article that you found needs to be present. And you need to have used the CRAP test first to make sure the article is good. And then once you know it's a good article, then you paste the URL right there. So for example, stopbullying.gov, that might be a good article for bullying. I'm going to copy that and then paste it, okay? So that I have the source, okay? And I know that all my notes, remember bullets under more, okay, go right in here. Now, say I'm down here, I'm another person in the same group, I'm going to have a different URL for the article I'm reading, okay? And all my notes, I might have some of the same categories, okay? I might have different ones, symptoms, okay, what does it look like? I don't know. So you might have different categories down here. If you do, that's fine, okay? But you're going to be taking notes yourself, and your URL is going to get pasted here. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, try to go back through this. Pause, you know, look back where you need to. If you are in the database group, okay, your source, you're going to have an article from the databases. And you're going to have your own table, just like they did. okay? But your source is going to look different because in the databases, they actually give you the full bibliography right at the end of the database, which is pretty cool. So if we go to Lynn Tech Library, which is where you're supposed to be to access the databases, click on that, and then you click on Databases, and you find Opposing Viewpoints. You get your article. Okay, let's say you want bullying, you want statistics, okay, because you know your peers have had some trouble with that. See if we can search that way. Cyberbullying among students is serious. Okay. News, website. Let's just do bullying and teens. See what happens. Sometimes we need to change our search terms until we find what we're looking for. Percentage of students ages 12 to 18 who reported being bullied at school. Okay, this is a great little set of statistics. Okay, it gives you percentage. If you zoom in, you can see it a little better. But down here, this is the important part. That's the source citation. Okay, it starts with the author's last name. It gives you the title of the article, the date it was accessed, everything. Okay, so you copy that, and then you go back to your notes, and you paste that in right next to source. If a pop-up bubble comes in here and says, allow access to the clipboard or deny, please allow it. Otherwise, you won't be able to paste in your citation, and you'd have to write the whole thing out by hand, and it would be very frustrating. The other way to deal with that, if you didn't listen to this message, would be to log out, log back in, and then try again. And when the pop-up bubble comes up, again, say allow. When you are working on this, you're going to want to make sure that you've shared it with the other group members. You can share it here with the other group members, and you can also share it with me because that's the only way I'm going to be able to give you a grade. And so you share it with pokrovskyra@gmail.com. Okay, that's my email right there, pokrovskyra. And you click send, and there it is. Okay, all set. When you are done, you should just log yourself out, sign out. Okay, and then you're all set.